Hi, welcome to Conversations with Carrie. We're having another Girlfriend's Corner where we talk about being a Proverbs 32 woman, but this time we're talking to those expectant mothers, new wives, and of course I'm always talking to my single ladies. Stay tuned. Hi, welcome to Conversations with Carrie, and we're having another session of our Girlfriend's Corner where we're going to talk about being a Proverbs 32 woman. So you're probably wondering, what is a Proverbs 32 woman, Carrie? That's not in scripture. If you haven't seen the first video, I'll link it below, but we're definitely going to talk a little bit more about the realistic life of trying to be a Proverbs 31 woman. But first, I want to introduce my guests. So I have Alicia and I have Melsha, and I'll let them do a full introduction. So Alicia, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Alicia Mullen. As Carrie mentioned, I am a trainer and facilitator by training.
And she also does public speaking. So we're going to put her website below as well.
I do. I'm sure to be somewhere in the video. Alicia Speaks.
Yes.
Check me out.
Hi everyone, my name is Melsha. By day I do marketing. By any other possible available time I do photography, and in there I'm a wife and I'm a soon-to-be mom.
Absolutely. And Alicia this year also, you're a soon-to-be mom.
I am a wife and soon-to-be mom as well.
You guys are how many months apart? Or
we are 2 days.
Wow.
We're 2 days apart.
Okay.
I'm due Christmas Eve.
And I'm due the day after Christmas.
Lovely. And December babies, they're going to be like that. And like, how exciting. So how did you guys meet? I think they need to know like how you guys are connected.
Sure. Well, Alicia and her husband Sean, they were friends with Jonathan before I stepped on the scene at a previous church.
Yeah. Okay.
And then when they got to the well and we all like reconnected, Jonathan and I were just dating.
Yeah.
And then we started just hanging out doing couples things.
Right.
Yeah, and then we just started talking more like on a woman level, and we went to a recent conference. We all did.
Okay.
We went to our recent conference, and we just got to know each other a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly.
What comes to mind when you think of a Proverbs 31 woman? Because for me, I was like, that's a lot.
Yeah. Man,
It is.
It's hard. It's what comes to my mind is overwhelming. I mean, this woman is making clothes.
Right.
Okay, she is selling these clothes.
Right.
She is cooking dinner. She is cleaning. She's
buying fields.
Man, that's hard.
Entrepreneur. Yes.
That's hard. Overwhelming comes to my mind when I first think of a Proverbs 31 woman.
Okay.
And it's the same thing for me, but when I look at the different verses too, I'm just like, I think of more of like things you should aspire to be, but I don't look at it like if you haven't gotten there, you haven't made it.
Okay.
But it's something that to keep in mind, all of that requires strength. So like when we look at virtuous woman, that's what a lot of times biblically that chapter is labeled. And that's symbolic of strength. And so you can't do any of that without the Lord. So I feel like that is something that when I look at it, it's like, you can't do none of this on your own. You'll be exhausted. I know I would, because many times I've tried to do things in my own strength, and I'm exhausted. But when God has ordained different things in your life too, and there's different seasons for things, I feel like that strength that only He can provide will allow you to be the entrepreneur, will allow you to get up and take care of your family. So.
Yeah. And what I find interesting about the chapter itself is that it's written by a woman for her son. It's a letter to her son. And being a soon-to-be mom to a son.
Y'all heard it here first.
I know my standards for his wife is going to be crazy high.
Yep.
Oh,
so that's understandable that those standards are high. Because if we have sons, we're going to want this woman,
I love that. That is really a letter like, hey, here's the standard of what you should be looking for in a virtuous wife, or just in the good wife, period. Oh, bless your son's heart.
Right.
I'm like, so she gonna you make your own clothes.
She's going to come to the house, I'm going to pull out the chapter. Let's read this. Check. We checking this off.
Another thing to add, though, that that you'll be a representation of that. So
Yes.
your son will be able to see it
True.
in reality. Like, this
Yes.
is what my mom's an entrepreneur.
Yeah,
My mom
that's
takes
true.
care of daddy. My mom takes care of the household.
Yeah,
my mom has
yeah.
all this strength and encouragement.
That's true.
So that when he does look for a wife, he's gonna take those,
He has that
like,
example.
yeah, he has that example. He's gonna take that to say, my mom is this awesome person. Why would I settle for less? Like, I don't even expect less.
Yes.
Yes,
you know? So
exactly.
I think that's the great thing about that.
So you actually bring up a great point, Melsha, because as Melsha's someone newly married, how many?
Yes, 10 months.
Yes.
And half of that I've been pregnant. So you do that.
Yes. So you know what it's like to, date. And maybe you date a man who does not want those qualities in a woman. But how about, let's hear a little bit about like how your transition from being a single woman to being a married woman and now expecting mom. How has that been for you?
Sure. That's a lot of change.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. That's been a lot of change for me. On top of that, I started a new job within that.
Right. Right. It's
Okay.
a lot of life changes.
It's a lot of life changes, but it's a journey. And so the transition, I wouldn't say it's easy.
Okay.
At all.
Yeah. Real talk over here on Girl
Real
Corner.
talk, because especially getting married late in my 30s, I feel that I kind of had a routine for things.
Yeah.
I managed my own time.
Right, like Melsha's like the ultimate like hustler. I was like, I have the same hours that Melsha has. So yeah.
And it was like, I'll wake up early when I want to do what I have to do, just plan out my whole schedule. And I had to learn in the married life to like include my husband. And what Jonathan does for me too is Jonathan's very spontaneous. And we had some episodes where he just went off and planned a trip that's all day. And I'm like, what? Like, I got nail appointment, hair appointment. I'm going to do some photography and stuff like that. And like, I had to learn, like, that's the balance that we bring to one another. And I'm still learning that. But I think that transition of being including someone and thinking like it's not just about me, it's something that I still kind of struggle with. So even thinking about adding a baby into that, it's totally not going to be all about me.
No, I think that's going to be a big lesson.
That's going to be a big lesson.
Yeah.
And so, doing my single life, like, this is what I prayed for. I prayed for the family, but also it's a real life lesson in like, okay, God, you gave me this, but also understanding that things have changed and things are different, and understanding that in order to get something that you never had before, you have to do things that you've never done before.
Yes, come on, that's a word. That's a word.
But I'm still learning, and every day is a different lesson for me. But once again, like I mentioned before, it's God's strength. And many times when I'm exhausted and tired, it's like I feel like God's saying, I didn't tell you to do all that
anyway.
Right. So you're exhausted on your own, honey.
Yes.
But when I feel like God is like in the midst of it, and I look through like all the things I've conquered that week, it doesn't feel as overwhelming.
So how do you guys incorporate that time with the Lord? Because like I said, it's easy for me. I get up in the morning, on the weekends I take my time, get ready, all the stuff I don't have to worry about because it's just me. So how do you guys incorporate time with the Lord and make him a part of your day?
I agree with Melsha that it is a daily thing. Like it's a learning process every single day. And I think even I've been married, it'll be 5 years.
Nice.
But it's still every
single
single day I'm learning.
Yeah.
I'm learning something new. I'm putting something new together. And I feel the same way with rearranging my schedule and thinking about how do I include me in the things that I love. How do I include my husband and what he enjoys and what we enjoy together, and then also how do I maintain that time with the Lord. So I know I just make sure that if it's early in the morning or my husband also coaches football, so when he's going to football practice, that's great time for me to study because it's quiet. But I have to be mindful. I think it's being mindful and being intentional.
Girl,
always
say that. Intentional.
Always mindful and intentional.
there's so much more, you know, I feel like I could be doing to spend more time with the Lord.
Definitely.
But I think that you do have to be intentional, and you do have to, just like how I plan everything else out, like I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You do have to take that time to plan and be with the Lord. And
I'll also add what's been really helpful for me is finding couples like John and Melcia and others to do things like talk about the word. Like we have time where we come together, and what has the Lord put on your heart? What has the Lord put on your heart as a couple or working with you as a couple? And how can we learn from what the Lord is teaching you?
Oh, that's great.
So we have those times as well.
Just like you find godly friends, you got to find godly couples, which, you know, that's why you got to have a mate that y'all equally yoked, you know, like, do you love Jesus? What does that look like? I think I'm learning that, and it can be difficult in the dating season, but I'm also seeing the fruitfulness, you know, and I hope you guys also seeing, like, it makes a difference.
I've learned, like, I like to speak, and I like to have, like, my opinion, and I want to have the last word, and I'm learning, I'm not there yet, but I'm learning that go before the Lord. Tell him that. And like the very things I prayed for is what's on his heart. That's when I'm so appreciative that we're equally yoked. Because if I was married to someone that doesn't know the Lord, I don't feel like they would have that same conviction to like even
totally
to come back around.
Instead of you trying to be that nagging woman, which you know that's not Proverbs 31.
It's not.
But again, like that whole concept of the Proverbs 31, I think it's sometimes it seems unrealistic, but I'm like, it is biblical though. But I'm like, I might be Proverbs 32. 1.5.
Right.
1.5. But Alicia, I wanted to talk with you as well about like how you're juggling being an entrepreneur and like building your business. And Mel should definitely jump in on this. While also, you know, you've been married longer, so like, how has that been? And do you feel like it's helping? Is stifling? Like, what's that process been like?
Yeah, I think what me and Sean do very, very well, and it's come to this point, we had to get here, is communication. Okay. We are very open in saying, hey, I think you're gone too often. You need to spend a little bit more time at home. Or go ahead, do you, boo-boo.
Right.
I know, like we're okay either way. Okay. So that's really, really helpful in just being very, very open and very, very honest. Again, this took some headbutting for a while. So I need to be selfless enough to appreciate them coming to me with this need.
I love that selflessness. I feel like I can't practice that right now. I'm like, it's just me, so Mel should.
It's so hard though. That's probably, I would think that's like my number one struggle.
Okay. That's good.
I agree. I mean, it's the flesh that we live in. Let's be honest. It's the flesh that we live in, and we seek to like, oh, I want this, you know, down to eating. I'm like, I need this, and I'm like, is that good for the baby? You know, like little things like that.
Yeah, but, especially caffeine.
Yeah, exactly. And let me tell y'all, I love my coffee, and if it wasn't for this child. Selflessness is really key, and also you can do that in your single life. I think thinking about being a servant of Christ.
I love that.
And how can I serve? Because that was one of the things that was so important to me when I was single. Is and it's still important to me now. Is how can I serve and be a blessing to someone else? Because the life that we live, I believe, is to impact others, you know? And so how can I say I'm walking in the love of Christ when Christ's example was serving? For me, I learned it more being married. But do something for someone else. And therefore you can practice that.
But as you're thinking about becoming new moms, like what kind of preparation are you doing? Like, are you kind of like reading books? Like, what does that look like?
Okay, so my mother, as soon as she found out, so this is her first grandbaby. So as soon as she found out, she said, me a book about motherhood and Jonathan a book about fatherhood. So like, and a pregnancy journal, so I could document the process. So really that is good. I also got an app called The Bump. It is,
Okay.
if you're pregnant, that's the best thing because every day it kind of tells you how much the baby weighs and stuff.
Oh, cute.
So I've been like just trying to read. I think in the beginning you're just a little bit more like, can't eat this, I can't do this, and I've kind of slowed down. Yeah. From a spiritual standpoint, I think that even looking for names for our children has been something I'm like, I want it biblically sound, and I want to know what the meaning is because this is something that I feel like you do become a part of who your name.
Yeah,
what your name
absolutely.
means.
Man, can I just say how hard? Why is it so hard to pick a name?
Yeah.
It is so hard.
It
to
is.
pick. I never thought about this in my life, but it's so hard to pick a name.
And not only that, but like to pick a name that you and your spouse are in agreement with.
Oh my goodness.
Because I sent Jonathan like 100 names, and I'm like,
I like Devontae. Like,
We ain't having no Devontae out
Blackish.
Preparation for me, I also have an app. I think it's like the what to expect when you're expecting app. I have that app that does all the same things, so I check that out regularly.
Okay.
And they give you like the weight, the size, what's going on with the baby at certain periods of time, what's going on in your body at certain periods of time, because things are happening.
Everybody thinks it's just a little belly going
And
on.
sometimes I'm like, oh my Lord, what are you doing? But so the apps, I read things here and there. I think the biggest preparation for me, spiritually at least, is that whole faith walk that I think you touched on, Melsha. I think for me, this is my biggest lesson in faith because I realize I can't do anything about this baby's like healthy growth and development. I do know I can eat right. You know, I know I can do those things.
Right.
But other than that, it's all the Lord.
Yeah.
Like the Lord is making sure this baby develops correctly. The Lord is making sure I stay healthy and I can maintain. Like the Lord is doing all of this, and I literally cannot do anything
That's huge.
else. And it's been so different because like in my career, it'll be like, yes, I'm praying for the Lord to help me out in my career, but I can go out and do this networking. And I can go out and gain my skills.
I gotta actually work.
I can do, like I can go out and do this and do that and do this. With this, it's like, no, Alicia, sit back. What can you do? I got it.
I'm sure you've had different women and maybe even men want to tell you certain things, give you some advice as new moms, just like I'm sure they did when you got married. But what's some of the best advice you've received? Like, what's been that like, oh, I didn't know that?
So recently, I just discovered that a friend of mine, we have the same primary doctor, and now we have the same doctor that's going to deliver the baby. And so that was awesome, right? And then one of the things she shared with me is the classes are really important because that's like a form of preparation.
Classes? What
Lamont's like breastfeeding classes,
breastfeeding, infant CPR, what to expect, like in the childbirth process.
Yes.
Even pain management during the childbirth. Like they have
bringing
classes.
infants home.
Infant care. They have so many classes.
Yeah. So I think that was really good advice because it kind of like settles you.
The best advice that I've received, and Melsha, you've already touched on this, it's that you'll need to kind of learn on your own. Everybody's different. Every baby's different. So I've heard consistently, like, yeah, it's good, take the classes, read the books, do whatever you need to do to feel comfortable. But when that baby comes, you're gonna just have to fill it out.
Right. Your instinct will kick in.
Exactly. You're just your baby's gonna be different than what this book is telling you. You know? So you're just gonna have to go with the flow. One thing I'm really encouraged by is that there's so many women who've gone through this already. Women have for who knows how many years had babies and went to work. Beyonce is somebody who pops in my mind. Serena Williams.
I love it.
Okay.
She's putting out there though, but that's important because you need to be authentic. authentic and honest.
Exactly.
It's not easy to return to work and you're leaving your baby in the care of someone else.
Exactly.
So her being authentic, I love that because I'm like, that's the next step for me. I'm paying attention.
And I'm eyes wide open. I'm paying attention to these women who've done this so many different times. And then like my mom, you know, practically there's so many different women who've done this. So even though at times I may feel anxious, I realize like, wait, women have done this time and time again.
Successfully at that.
Successfully. And climbed the corporate ladder and done, you know, whatever. And it's been great. So
you're really going to be in the state of ambiguity. And it's like you said, Milsha, earlier, like, you know, just leaning on the Lord. So I'll be so excited to just watch this from the sidelines, guys. I love all the perspective you've been given. And again, just dropping the gems. Just dropping. So you guys, thank you so much for your time. This has been so excellent. I hope you guys got something. And for those like new mothers or those single women wanting to be mothers, like, take heed, okay? So thanks so much for joining Conversations with Carrie.